Why did I become a revolutionary? It's a difficult question to answer because I was just a regular white South African. I grew up with no political ideas at all. And when I left school at the age of 18, when I matriculated, I had no idea what was going on in my own country. I virtually didn't even know the word apartheid. I knew nothing about politics, about the situation in this country, and in fact, to find out what was going on, I had to leave the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has now turned on the fasten seatbelt sign and will soon be landing at London Heathrow. Please now return to your seat and make sure that all your personal belongings are safely put away in the overhead locker or underneath the seat in front of you.
We flew to London and simply walked into the ANC's office and said, "We've come here to find out more about the ANC."
The ANC sought to liberate the people of South Africa, but of course at that time people were terrified of even mentioning the African National Congress. If there were people in our country who happened to be white, who wanted to play a role in the struggle, they were most welcome.
There were two young guys, Tim and Steve Lee, his chum, who were keen to do work, meaning secret work, and he had immediately sent them to some cafe around the corner. Of course, one's very wary. These could be the real McCoy, but they could be agents.
Their response was a little bit of a shock to us. They kind of said, "You can't walk in here like this and just ask that. Please meet us around the corner and we'll discuss it." In other words, you've got to watch your tail.
So it's a question then of chatting and their background, and have formed quite a good impression. They seemed genuine, but you could never be sure.
And when they said, "We'll give you training in security and in propaganda and in all the things that are required for underground work," it sounded very exciting, and we agreed to do that. They taught us how to communicate secretly, how to operate secretly and securely in South Africa in a kind of police state.
You know, they weren't the usual kind of intellectual types that one came across as students. They showed quite an ability to catch on to aspects of using gadgets, the kind of gadgets we had developed for playing street broadcasting messages or leaflet bombs, making timing devices. And the person who was so adept at that was Tim. He was brilliant, and I began to realize that he was a wonderful mix of somebody with a brain, but he had a ability to construct things.
Our political ideology had changed quite a lot in the year that we were there, and we felt very sympathetic towards the ANC.
He was the more energetic one, Tim. Steve was a bit of the more lazy guy who was happy to hang around in a bar and down a lot of beers. Tim, you could have 1.5 lagers with him and that was sufficient. He was a lovable guy and very, very quiet, almost withdrawn, which is what you want.
We were sent back into South Africa with quite a